Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you, and let's get right on into it. All right, let's pull up that screen. Cybl, we're going to have a little update. This is a pretty important update. The CEO came out and did a video yesterday. We're going to go through it and kind of cherry pick some parts of it that I think are pretty important about the company and talk about June numbers and what we can expect. All right, before we get into Cybl, I went out and filled up my tank today. Oh my gosh, 90 bucks instead of 100. What an improvement. Woo-hoo-hoo, I'm so excited. Inflation is still here and it sucks. 9.1%. It's higher than that because a lot of times they kind of devalue food cost and energy cost in those numbers. And the reality is it's probably 12 to 15%. But it's got people, they're not traveling. Traffic's not near what it should be in July in Pigeon Forge. I can come right up the main drag on a Friday. I should not be able to do that. I should have to take all back roads all the time. But people just can't travel because they don't have the money because everything costs so much more. You go to the grocery store, it's horrible. And a lot of it has to do with gas prices because energy is in everything that we do. You know, whether if it's food, the tractors that produce the food, and then the trucks that deliver the food. And all of those things use gas and oil, every bit of it. Then you've got to use gas and oil to go get those things. It's in everything you do. And it just, it's really eating us up. And so demand destruction is working. The demand is being destroyed because of the high prices. And that's going to bring these gas prices down slowly and painfully, very painfully. Pain. I wish we would have chosen to drill more. And I know that's, oh, you're getting political. No, I'm not. I'm talking about the simple fact of the matter that we need lower gas prices. We really do. And I'm Mr. EV. I want everybody to have an EV. If it were up to me, I would give a $10,000 tax credit on every single EV purchased from now until the next 10 years, just to push everybody into an EV. But I would push them nicely. I would not force it by trying to keep high gas prices by making it hard to drill. You know, that's how I would do it. But like I say, that's my opinion. I'm going to take some grief over that, I know. But the fact is, I want lower gas prices.
How dare you?
Yep, Greta hates me. She can't stand me because I want lower gas prices. So be it. It's what we need. Now let's get into Cybl, and I'll get off my soapbox. And here's a video of Mark Schmidt, and he's talking about their June numbers, and this was pretty eye-opening and pretty helpful, and it's about what I was thinking.
June looks like we may actually tip over a $3 million mark on for the month. That would be a remarkable accomplishment for the company that, you know, in the prior year had not done 3 million cumulatively in the entire year. So just very excited.
Okay, so he's talking about 3 million for June. And if I go by my notes, and I know in April they did 2.46 million, in May they did 2.7 million. That's the reported revenue they did. So we were thinking about 3 million bucks, which means they'll be over $8 million for the quarter. And let's look at the last quarter. All right, last quarter they did 6.2 million. So now looks like we're going to be over 8 million. And based on their profit margin, they did 1.4 million in profit last quarter. So I'm thinking they're going to be somewhere between 1.7, 1.8 million in net income, which will be a very nice profitable quarter, which will be the second quarter. And again, realize they're calling for $44 million for the entire year. So if you add those two quarters together at 14, so they're talking about doing close to $30 million those last two quarters. So they'd have to probably do 10 or 12 in the third and really knock it out of the park in the fourth. So we'll see how that rolls. But I mean, they're hitting their numbers of what they say they're going to do. And that's good news for us shareholders. In this next part, he's going to talk about the turd in the punch bowl, which is the yield sign and also the promo badge. So we'll watch that together.
Been very attentive to the yield sign and this unfortunate tag we've had from promotions, I guess. We have had paid content, and I guess the reality is if you complain enough, then the OTC market will take action. So whoever decided that was not in keeping with the way they wanted Cybl to communicate, you made your point. So thankfully we won't need to do anything that's beyond just normal communication going forward. And in the groups that we're working in right now, I don't think I would want to anyway. I don't think we need to. So bear with us as we're getting those two things removed. We have brought a new resource in on our filing side. I think I've mentioned before that we've been engaged with our former auditor. So Mark Turbyfill is now officially coming on board to serve as both our reviewer and our auditor as we move on to the next step. So it's taken a little bit of time to engage and get that whole process working. We took the opportunity with the changing of format from our SEC format to the OTC markets format to really get him to jump in, and it's just taken a couple more days than we've wanted. And plus I'm in an entirely different time zone, so it's been kind of bizarre. As I'm going to bed, you guys are waking up, and vice versa. So, but anyway, give us a couple more days. We'll get that filed. I've talked to the OTC markets periodically this week, and they're ready for us to just submit it so they can get it approved in a couple days. So that'll be behind us soon. There is no issue with us losing. I don't know. Someone sent me a note today about us being delisted, and that's just that's a falsehood. So it should have gotten fixed a little sooner, but we're now in some very deep classified areas. So how we record revenue and how we report that is going to be very, very important for this particular set of things we're doing. We've had that issue in the past, but this is a whole different level. So I wanted to make sure we got it right. Mark actually has secret clearance, so he's already in that space. Again, Mark Turbyfill, who was our auditor a long time ago, and when we were SEC compliant, so we're excited to have him back in the fold. We'll probably do an announcement officially of that when we get past this particular hurdle, so look for some more information on that.
All right, so they're working on the yield sign, obviously. They still have got a little bit of work to do to get that squared away with the OTC markets. That'll really be helpful to the stock when they get that taken care of, because that scares the crap out of a lot of investors. I'm really surprised I'm even invested in the company given the yield sign sitting there, but I went into it with my eyes wide open that, hey, that yield side's there. It's been priced into the stock, and I know that risk. And really, when you invest in an OTC stock company, it's very important to go into it with open eyes of, hey, first of all, OTC stock's risky, then it's got a yield sign. So, regardless of what happens, if it turns out great, great. If it doesn't, then I'll just say, well, I knew it walking into it. I knew it fully 100%. And I think it'll get taken care of, but like I say, it's an OTC stock, so keep that in mind. Now we're going to talk about something that's very helpful, and that's the buybacks. And he speaks to that here in just a minute.
Hang in there with us. Again, remember, third quarter is when we're kicking in our buyback strategy also. I expect maybe it to start before the end of July. We'll see. So don't despair about a share price right now. The market has no idea what we're doing. So let's get some news out. Let's get the company back to its even keel, and I'm very, very bullish on the remainder of the year. Plans, expectations that we've set, I think, are all very in line with what we're doing. So thanks very much for your support.
All right, so I found that video very informative and went over 3 critical items. Number one being that June is probably going to be around $3 million, which is what we thought based on the numbers they had done the previous month. So that was very good information to have. Now I can kind of run numbers. Secondly, the yield sign and the promo sign, obviously they know that's a big deal. Promo, it'll go away over 15 days. And like he said, I don't think they have to do anything there. The yield sign still requires some more work from their auditor. And sounds like they've got their old guy back in there to do auditing and reviewing, so I like that. And the last thing is the buyback, and that's going to affect the stock price because, I know it's not going to happen in 1 month that they buy back 19.5 million. I believe that's going to happen over a couple of 3 years. But if they start, that's going to be that little trigger of, hey, that's a good sign. All right, and as we look at the stock, it's up about 13% today. So I think that video was very well received, and it's back in this little channel right here between 1.1 cent and 1.3. And this is where I've been buying stock in the company, and I've been dollar cost averaging very slowly. And like I said, I keep within my 10% rule. I'm not going crazy on this stock, but I am buying enough to where it's going to be worthwhile to me if it does go up. And if it doesn't, it won't hurt me too much. But it is having a real nice day, over 10% today. And like I said, I think that's based on the video that we just watched. All right, and the short volume's not really high on this company. You know, it's up there some, but it's not terrible. The short volume has been anywhere from 17 to 32, 33%, which in the OTC stock land, that's not terrible. There obviously are people playing this and trying to run it up and down. But like I said, I haven't seen any real high short volume. It's been 48% like back on the first, but that's the last time it was really high. So I don't think we're being manipulated too much with this stock. All right, folks, and that's Cyberlux today. Just wanted to do a quick update on it. I thought that was a very important video with the CEO coming out and talking about those 3 important issues. And that made me feel a little bit better about the company to hear the June numbers especially, and then talking about the buyback and all that. The yield and the promo thing's going to have to go. I'm sick and tired of both those already, but it sounds like they're working on it. And if you like this content, be sure to hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. I'd appreciate it. And we'll see you next time on Mr. Frugal Investor.